Not just a river, multiple rivers, and not just water, but living water is meant to flow out of your life. Today, I want to talk to you about the dangers of spiritual swamping and what we can do to make sure it's not happening in our lives. Spiritual swamping, by my definition, is to receive but not to grow. Swamps are wetland areas that bring water in, but don't necessarily have movement for water to exit. And those swamps, they do bring forth forms of life, certain trees, certain bushes, certain wildlife, but it's certainly not a place that's teeming with different kinds of life, and it has no flow outward. So when you think about a swamp, you kind of know what comes to your mind, right? That's the opposite of what God said should be and can be flowing out of us. So that wetland swamp area brings that water in, and it accumulates that water, and then it kind of cuts off any real cultivation, because that's what a swamp is. It's a tract of land that's not fit for cultivation. But we are to be people that can be cultivated and bring forth life. That's what the scriptures tell us. So I want to kind of talk with you about this today. So let's look at 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 3 and 4. And it says this: "For the time will come." So this is talking about a future time. "A time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine." In other words, sound doctrine should be challenging you. You have to endure it. All right? "But wanting to have their ears tickled, looking for comfortable and calming teaching that doesn't challenge us, but they will accumulate, stack up, pile up, swamp for themselves teachers in accordance to their own desires, and will turn away their ears from the truth and will turn aside to myths." So ultimately, if you do that, right, if you're not willing to endure sound doctrine, if you're not willing to face the tough teachings, and you just start to swamp out and accumulate what you like, you're actually going to turn aside to myths, things that aren't true, things that aren't accurate. And this is a warning. And I'm wondering, like, are we there? Are you there? Is that your life? Is that my life? We have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves some hard questions. If you think about what we have access to today, what we're doing right now, YouTube, all this teaching, social media, all this information, books and devotionals and church services and preachers and worship and all of this. And we're just bringing it in and bringing it in, bringing it in and piling it up and looking for that quick fix and that quick feeling that's going to get us through Tuesday. And that's what we're doing. We're piling up. But really what we're doing is we're swamping out. That's what we're actually doing. There's some life, but it's not teeming with life. There's some water, but it's not living water. So we have to be careful that we're not swamping out in life. So I would put this in a category of like religion, right? The same old functions over and over again. What's comfortable? What's relaxing? I had a young guy recently ask me a question. He asked me what I look for in a good mentor. And I told him that I only take on mentors that will challenge me and offend me. And the reason for that is I know what other people think. I know how other people like me think. I want somebody who's going to challenge me. I'm not saying that we accept all forms of doctrine or all different teachings or everything a mentor says is the gold standard of life. But what I'm saying is I need to be interacting with something that challenges me. That's what it says. Endure sound doctrine. And we need to be people that are constantly interacting with the challenge of life. That's how we are cultivated. But that's not what typically happens. We settle for a religious, comfortable, surround myself with people that aren't going to challenge me life. And we swamp out. That's the telltale sign, is you're just dealing with the same old, same depression, same anxiety, same fears, same concerns. You have the same questions and you don't really get answers. And it's because you're surrounding yourself with all of the things you're comfortable with. Now, how do we avoid swamping? So let me just tell you something that I do and some fresh things that have happened in my life, and I want to share them with you. So over the years, I've developed something called posture statements. So this is not like New Year's resolutions that are typically one-off goals for the year. Posture statements are added to the life to always exist, and they don't happen very frequently. So let me give you a couple examples. Back in 2013, my wife had this incredible experience with the Lord, and he really spoke to her about Sabbath. She came and talked to me about it. We prayed about it, and we implemented Sabbath into our family, and we keep it. And it has transformed our family over the last 10, 11 years. In 2019, my wife and I were talking and praying and examining our marriage, and we were in a really tough time in that particular year. And we just decided, hey, we need to invest in us more. So we decided to take every single morning and start our day together in coffee and conversation. And for 5 years, we haven't missed a morning other than when I'm traveling or she's traveling, but we don't miss. And because of that, our conversations have completely transformed. Our communications have improved incredibly. Those were posture changes for our life. Like posture statements are like holistic in life. It's for my life and it's expected to be from my life. That's what we do with these things that we call posture statements. So this year I have another one that's been added. It doesn't happen every year. It's like every 5 years or so. But this is the new one that we've added to our family. Bring forth what God deposits. If he deposits revelation in my mind, share the revelation with others. If he deposits money in my life, invest financially into others. If he deposits peace in my situation, make peace among others. If he deposits healing in my heart, pray for the healing of others. Don't bury the blessing, create from the Creator. That's my new posture statement for me and for my family, and we're implementing that now. And it's dealing with exactly what I'm talking with you right now. What comes in should be coming back out. That's how we avoid swamping. So here's some verses that are really critical for this. John 15:16, it says this, you did not choose me. So Jesus is saying, you didn't choose me. He says, I chose you. That's powerful. That's beautiful. Let that sink in. I chose you. And he says, I appointed that you would go and bear fruit. You would go and bear fruit. Bring forth. Luke 6:45. I love this one. The good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth what is good. That's exactly what I mean. That captures everything I'm saying. The good man out of, it's in here, out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth what is good. God sows out of him into us, and we sow out of us into the community, the church, the marriage, the children. So it has to come out of us. We sow out of what God did in our life into others. And now you're a river. Now you're teeming with life. You know, people come to me after sermons and they'll say, you know, Kurt, I loved what you said. I agree with what you said. And I like that. You know, it's nice to know that you reinforced something in somebody's life and brought some confirmation. That's great. But what I love more is when somebody comes to me and says, I haven't heard that. That's new. That's challenging me. I need to think about that. Because to me, that's what I'm saying. It's new, it's challenging, it's different, it's enduring, it's cultivating, and it's how we bring forth good fruit. It's how out of our hearts brings new and good things into others. John 7:38 is the verse that I've been talking about. He who believes in me, so I'm talking to those of you that believe in Jesus. If you do not, this isn't for you. If you accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, you make him the Lord of your life. He's saying, if you do that from your innermost being. So I want to describe that. I want to make sure you understand innermost being. We have the outermost being. We have the thing that people see and the people hear, and we have our fake social media life, right? That's not what this is saying. Innermost being, that place that nobody goes but you. When you lay down in bed at night and you stare up at that ceiling, that's that innermost being where your secrets are locked up, where your fears and concerns and your dreams are locked up. This scripture is saying from there will flow rivers, multiple, of living water. That means the whole of your life from the deepest places of who you are, God will bring forth life. But too often we choose to swamp. We choose to hold it. We make it about us. It's always about pouring out into others. That's my encouragement and challenge to you today. Don't swamp by accumulating the blessings of God in your life. Pour them out into others. Be the rivers of living water into other people in your life. Go and make disciples as Jesus told us to. And you'll watch everything in your life start to change. That depression, that anxiety, that fear that you're always wrestling with, it starts to die because now you're a river and you're not a swamp. You're not holding what you've always had. You're moving into what can be. That is where we should be living as believers in Jesus. So this is not just meant for you. It's meant to come out of you. So I just encourage you today, and I would love to hear from you. I'd like to hear what you think. Drop a comment, send me a message. If you want to hear more about posture statements, I'd love to talk with you about that. If you write one, post it. Let me know. I'd love to see what God's doing in your life, and I could be praying for you. But as always, all nations, all souls, blessings.